Project Sapient is a podcast meant to engage our brothers and sisters in the law enforcement and military communities in conversations that we all know we need to have. All opinions you hear are our own, and they are protected by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. They are in no way reflect or are meant to reflect the opinion of any specific agency, officer, or service member. Some opinions may be controversial. Listener discretion is advised. Enjoy. All right, welcome back to Project Sapient. Thank you all for listening to our last few episodes, and it's been an amazing, again, still, I'm always thankful for our sponsor supporters. And, you know, we just got back with 22 Mohawks over at Operation Phantom Scotch, which was amazing. It's the airborne retreat that 22 Mohawks hosts down at X-35 Airborne School. And next episode or the one after, probably going to have both Dave and Stacy and one of the jumpers on and, you know, talk about the experience and what that was like, you know, doing static line parachuting with everything else that's within that airborne retreat that they do down in Florida. So amazing time and amazing people down there. And today, actually, got a very special guest. A mutual friend of ours introduced us, JD, who's the CEO of Northern Red, and he had me reach out and got me connected with Al Salvini. Hey, Al, how you doing, bud?
How you doing today?
Good.
Good.
Hey, so JD introduced us, and he was talking to me about this blade. And he's like, you got to check it out. You got to check it out. You got to check out this blade. He sent me the YouTube link that the video that Regiment BCM made of, the blade. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay, that's interesting. And I sort of understood the concept, reached out to you and you sent me like 3 blades. And I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. Just so you wanted me to really check them out. And they're really cool. So Al, if you want, tell the listeners a little about yourself, your background, and then we'll get right into the blade.
Okay. So my background is I've been training 51 years, okay, since I was 16. And
in what style? In what style?
Okay, so I go through Taekwondo was the first. I got a black belt in that back in the 70s, probably 77. Then when I went into boxing, because I started bouncing when I was 21. Okay, so I was a little guy, about 5'7", 140 pounds.
Yep.
All right, and I'm like, I could do that. My uncle owned the club, and I saw what it was. It was a rough club in New Jersey, right? Teeth and eyeballs on the sidewalk. I mean, it's a live band bar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Blood everywhere. And always fights all the time. And at the time, the drinking age was 18. I don't know if people know that. They lowered it to 18, which was a huge monumental mistake that they changed in 2 years because of all the bullshit going through the bars. So fight after fight. So what I had this background in sport martial arts, right? And I didn't even start to box yet because I worked with a Navy boxer at this bar. So he would knock everybody out so fast, dude. I mean, he was so much faster than me. Yeah. And I'm 21 and I could go, but with the traditional training, there's no room to kick. There's 800 people in the bar. And then, of course, fights break out, bottles are getting thrown. Yeah. So the best thing I did was the 2-handed choke and bang their head on the door frame because I couldn't do anything else because it was too tight. Yeah. But I see this boxer just lighting people up and knocking them down. Then, man, I got to do this, So I'm from Philly. Yeah. Philly's a fight town, Yeah. So I go and I start boxing in Philly. And I'm getting my ass kicked by these boxers. And I'm like, I'm a black belt, dude. These damn boys, they don't know you're a black belt, son. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They beat the hell out of me. And I used to spar with this little guy. And the guy come over one day. And this is where I changed my life. It's like, hey, you want to spar with this guy? And I'm like, well, okay, yeah. And how much you weigh? I was like, 140. And I said, why? How much does he weigh? He's like, 117. It's like, man, my sister weighs 117. I have nothing, I got this dude. So I get in the ring with this guy and I could not touch him. And I mean, It looked like I was going to touch him for a second, and then he was gone. And he hit me so many. I swore people from outside the ring were punching me in the face. I never got punched in the face so much and so hard by this little bantamweight. Well, he was a number one contender professional who was going to fight for the championship.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't tell me that, though.
A little humbling, right?
Right? You're humble. And I left. First of all, I couldn't leave the gym for 45 minutes because I had headaches. Every time I sparred with him, I had to sit down and wait till it all went away.
Yeah.
I learned more in 6 months sparring with him than years. He beat my ass 8 ways from Sunday. Yeah. I couldn't touch him. And what got me around was not the punches. I could take a punch. I could take a kick. I couldn't touch him enough to hurt him. Now, by the end of 6 months, I could touch him a little bit because I knew him.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it was life changing. It was like I was shadow boxing with another person there. And then all of a sudden my head's going back and forth. And it was crazy, right? Yeah. So then I take those skills into the bar. So now I'm lighting people up because now I'm elbowing, I'm doing the punching. So I'm saying, this is working. So I bounced for 15 years, dude. I was the only white bouncer in an all-black nightclub for 2 years. Mm-hmm. All right. So I was getting it. They were testing me all the time. I mean, you know, the other bar was mild and it was in the city in Philly. All right. So they were leery of me because I was the only white guy there. So they must have thought I was insane anyway. But still, I got some. This is the experience that I got. And it was hard and it was fighting a lot of people. And I never went to the ground ever because the old men were like, dude, don't go on the ground ever. They will kick your face off. Never, ever go to the ground. So I understand jujitsu and all that. Yeah. And 101, it's unbeatable 101. Yeah. But 2-on-1, the odds go down. Yeah. Now, how about 3 people? Forget it. You're not going to do it. Yeah. You can't roll with 2 people and expect to win. Yeah. And I say, look, dude, you're going to roll. And people try to tell me this, and I'm like, dude, you're going to fight something that has 4 arms, 4 legs, 2 heads, splits itself in half, and moves in different directions at different speeds and weighs different. Yeah. And you're going to fight this thing without a weapon? Not going to happen. Yeah. You're not going to do it. I mean, you might get lucky. Yeah. But your chances of the 9 out of 10 is not going to happen.
So as you were, sorry, I got you off. So as you were getting older and getting into more of the fight scene, when did the blades start coming in? Okay, so the blade started about 2000. Okay. Because now I was always playing around with blades, always with Arnice, but there's never any blade instruction around. I'm like, go find it. All you people out there, you go text in your town to find a blade instructor. Man, there's hardly any. Yeah, that's tough. So I get lucky one day. I got Nico, and Nico, he was probably like 8 or 10, and I got him in Taekwondo, to do the stuff I did at first, formal training. And then I go down, I see a sign for Sayok blade. What's that? So I go and I join. This is awesome. Finally, I got some structure of the blade, but Sayok's a really complicated system. And then I got Nico involved in it. So just for the listeners what is Sayok? Just so those that don't know.
Sayok Kali. Okay. At the time, it was real low-level stuff in 2000. Then they jumped up. They were in the movie, The Hunted. Yep. With Tommy Lee Jones. Yep. They did all the fight choreography for that. That was after we had joined, though, for a few years. So it's a template, and it's complicated. And I've been punched in the head a lot. I can't really remember a lot of stuff, but Nico could. Yeah. So he used to come after Taekwondo. He would sit there, and he would tell me what I was doing wrong. I mean, you're just sitting there, kid. You're working my side of the street. So the instructor said, come on, get him in with us. So he started going. Okay. And basically, we got in the blade to get him into the blade. Yeah. So we did 10 years at Sayok.
And so Sayok is a Filipino system, right?
Filipino martial art. Yeah. Okay. And they only would teach for instructors. They had associate instructors and instructors. So their thing was they don't have students. you would have to get your students if you want to. We only teach instructors.
Gotcha.
It's a high level skill, and they throw a ton of information at you.
Gotcha.
So what started the Blade was we were going to trips to Dam Neck. They had the STG, would be SAOC Tactical Group. Okay. And they would have the contracts to go down to Dam Neck because a lot of SEALs trained with them, a lot of military trained with them, and Tom Kyer is the one that got all that going.
Okay.
So we would go down there and we would do Blade, and I would do my power hitting stuff because that's the thing that I did. How to hit hard, open hand in a small space without a lot of movement.
Yep.
So the first time that we had gone to Dam Neck, we're teaching just a bunch of guys, and I would do my block, and then I would see a little bit of instruction on the Blade, and I can see that I confused more people than anybody. And by the end of the week, they were throwing their trainer down, punching each other in the face.
Yeah.
So if you get the thing is that I just spent a week helping teach Blade to these guys. And at the end of the week, they threw their weapon down and punched each other in the face because they couldn't remember anything we told them or that I told them.
Yeah.
So I'm probably a bad instructor at Blade. I mean, it's not acceptable for me because I said, for me to do that, and then you guys just threw your stuff away.
Yeah.
So I always said, look, they have they got a good fight room. Everybody can punch. Why don't we should just make something that they can punch with? Yep. This is so simple for them.
Yeah.
So, that went on deaf ears at the time because, I don't want to jump into their system. I'm just a power hitting guy and, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So later on when SAOC, we got out of SAOC, for whatever reason, it was going down and 2-on had passed. We made the Blade that you can actually punch with. And that's when I hooked up with JD and Northern Red.
Yep.
So JD gets the concept.
Yep.
And I want to make a Blade that once you pick it up, you know what to do with it. They say, oh, yeah, I can use this now. Because what bothered me was a lot of cops will carry blades, and I think, what do you got? And they go, oh, I got this blade, but I had to be trained with it first. Well, really? How come? Well, I don't have, the skill. But wait a minute, you use a knife and fork every night, dude. I mean, you don't need to train it with that. You really shouldn't have to tell me you need to be trained with a knife on how to use it. So I wanted to get away from that. So that's where the Blade came into. It evolved into the way it looks now. It's a funny looking blade.
Yeah.
But you're not going to lose it on your grip. You can use it. Look, dudes that have been training and were in the shape, probably in 20 minutes, I got you. Yeah. You want a little more time for people who have no experience? Okay, that too.
Yeah.
But the whole idea is the pointy end goes in the target.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no training needed. It's like a hammer at Home Depot. Nobody has hammering lessons. You know how to use it. Right. And it should be in the same thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spend hours teaching people Blade because it's like a second language. Yeah. Learning a Filipino martial art is like learning a different language. Yeah. And you come back and they look at it like, oh, this way. And it's the same thing, dude. I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, look, I'm done with that. We don't do that. We're not going to do something else. We're going to do this.
Gotcha.
And that's all you need.
And so when you, I'm going to back up real quick with the SEALs. So when you were doing the power hitting, so that was more like punching, close quarters type stuff, so that was close quarter quite stuff. And then it would transition to blade work, and blade work is also close quarter, but they weren't doing anything that you also taught. So they ended up, because it was so complicated for them to kind of combine the two. Is that what I'm getting? That it was complicated to combine the two skills.
Well, sure, you have to be a different person. It's just like you're going to, blade guy now. All right, now I'm going to be a striker guy.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to be a gun guy. Now I'm going to be a what? You know what I'm saying? You keep switching those hats. So I said, why don't we just combine the two, and then we got one off the table? Because everything I do with this blade, I do with in punching on how I do or my striking. So it's easy.
So when I held the blade, if you want to show it up on the camera, I know you have one of them. There you go. So that's pretty much what I got, and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And right away, again, it was like natural.
Right.
I'm like, oh yeah, I get it now. Like it's
right there.
It's right there, and it became very natural quickly, right? Versus trying to be the fancy, grab the knife and start slashing this, that, the other, and poke. And it makes more sense that you're teaching a power hitting system. Well, why not give a blade to the SEALs that matches that power hitting system?
Right. And that they don't have to learn anything else. They already know it.
Yeah.
See, the thing about cutting and stabbing. So when you get into a regular blade system that cuts, and they cut and stab, cut. Well, cutting, there's timers and switches, right? So if I cut you, I'm going to have to wait for you to bleed out.
Yeah.
And I can't really get deep on a cut unless I have a heavy blade. Now these are little blades. So stabbing versus cutting is like, so here's the concept. I'm going to stab and you cut. Okay. But I'm going to go first and we're going to do it on our chest. Yeah. Okay. You're never going to slash me with a 2-inch blade deep enough to do, but I'm going to bury this up to my knuckles in your thing. So that's how you have to feel like, look, I'll cut my family, but everybody else gets stabbed.
Yeah.
Because cutting is not what it's made out to be unless it's a heavy blade, a machete, or if you're hitting in a thing.
Yeah.
But I can't carry a 7-inch blade all the time. I can't carry a machete. I can carry this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So once you get into that, I'm doing this and not a bunch of other stuff. It's like, just like with the pistol. How many different ways to pull a trigger? Not that many.
No, not that
many. Okay.
Yeah.
There's really not that many. Yeah. But there's people out there to tell you there is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they'll tell you when you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. And then that's when the confusion starts. If you have too many choices, you're not going to be able to pick that right one out because let's face it, most of the decisions are going to be bad anyway. That you make. So, right, you're just going to have to adapt to them. So if I only have this, I'm good. I don't have to make any decisions.
Yeah.
Once I go, it's going to be sewing machine.
Yeah.
Straight ahead, grab and stab.
Yeah.
And that's it. And then maybe we'll disengage and we'll go this way.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go into a system because I watched them do that.
Yeah.
Try to remember a system when things are going quick.
Yeah.
Can't do it. It's impossible. That's why they throw their blades down and start punching each other in the face.
They go back to what they know versus
what they go back to what they know.
Exactly.
Because it's like I said, is if you want to get rid of someone's punching skills, kicking skills, wrestling skills, grappling skills, give them a knife.
Yeah.
Because now it's all knife.
Yeah.
Because all that goes, and now we have a weapon now. And I'm just saying a knife, a weapon.
Yeah.
So once the weapon comes into play, that's all they're going to do. So everything else is gone.
Yeah.
So I'm more comfortable now. I'll give them a stick. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Right? Well, all I have to do was worry about the stick.
Yeah. So that's the thing with the knife, right? I mean, you're 100% right. So I was just thinking in all my years, even my time in the martial arts, when I would train, anytime kicking, punching, all good to go. The minute I'm given a weapon, I'm like, whew, okay. Now, I gotta, and again, I was blessed that I started at such a young age where the weapon systems grew with me and it became kind of natural versus, handing me a knife, when I've never been trained to use a knife. And the reality is there's no real training for knives. There really isn't, other than, if in the martial arts, if you give you a katana sword, that's different. That's a specific system. That's a specific blade. And that's the one, that will stab, cut, kill like that. It's made for that. Right. But with a knife, it's a whole different animal. And it's interesting that you quickly revert back to what you know, and you made a blade. You kind of, your concept of this blade complements what we already know as strikers, as fighters. Right. Yeah. So it's like, the way I put my finger in the sheath and even pulling it out and getting it ready. And I'm like, right away, I went into this boxer stance, right away. Didn't even think about it, nothing, because it just came up. And then naturally I'm in a boxer stance. I'm freaking jabbing, I'm hook, uppercut, whatever.
Uppercut,
basically, I mean, what is it? 7 punches for boxing, right? It's a jab, cross, and those are the only things you need, and so to me, I'm like, well, the blade just complemented those 7 hits, the 7 different hits that you need.
Yeah, and if you do that with a straight blade, and it's right in my face.
Yeah.
So now I'm changed.
Yep.
Now it's away from me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. When you give it to a wife, so now I have to adapt to this blade.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, I'm going to stab myself.
Okay.
Okay.
And a quick word from our sponsors and supporters. Havoc Journal. Havoc Journal serves as a voice for the veteran and first responder community through a focus on current affairs, articles of interest to the public in general and the veteran community and first responder community in particular. They strive to offer timely, current, and informative content with the occasional piece focused on entertainment. If you type my name into their search block, so it's havocjournal.com, type my name into the search block, and you'll see I've had over 100 articles published through them, and you'll get to see what they're all about. I mean, they have everything, world, politics, national security, fitness, and even culture on their website, where you can go in and just read everything that they have. So again, that's havocjournal.com. Head over there. They have Instagram, they have Facebook, share their pages, share their content. Most of them are veterans that run the Havoc Journal, and they do some amazing work out there in the veteran community.
So the other blade, when I'm boxing, it's away from me, and I've never punched my other hand ever.
Yeah.
Right. Even if I grab and stab, I know if I grab high, I punch low. I grab low, I punch high, and you just do that over and over, and there's no confusion there. There's no choices.
Yeah.
So the straight blades they're good. I still carry a straight blade, but I'm not going to use it to fight. I'm going to use it maybe on my offhand left side and just Norman Bates stuff when I have to.
Yeah.
But when I want to when it needs to go, it's going to be this, because this is what I do.
Yeah.
And I practice this because I can. If you want to get the concept of this, you go, okay, you get two guys and you say you put a boxing glove on the right hand if they're right-handed, and you try to take it off him while he's punching you in the face.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're not going to get it because he's going to pull that hand back.
Yeah.
It's like grabbing and just pull back, and then I peel it off, and then it's going to go again.
Yeah.
So the lines are straight in, straight out instead of angled.
Yeah.
And if I'm on a front-handed jab, because I'm going to put my weapon hand and weapon foot in front, and I'm going to jab when I get a nice long reach.
Yeah.
But I can hook off of this. I can uppercut. I can do everything. You will never catch my hand. I don't care. I'm old. You're never going to catch this hand.
Yeah.
But if I'm in a straight blade, now I'm doing this and this wavy type of thing. Even by accident, you'll knock it out of my hand.
Yeah.
Right. So even if I do bad and you get it in, you jam it. So it cuts down on the chances of me losing that blade.
Yeah. So one thing is like with another thing with the blade is how well, actually, let's go back. So did you end up going back to the SEALs with the newer blade with the new concept?
No, that got back into JD and his Green Beret guys.
Okay, so then let's shift kind of with JD and his Green Beret guys. So when you switched there, talk to me about how you met JD and kind of go over that.
Well, JD was SEAC.
Okay.
Too at the same time.
Okay.
Okay. So we had known each other through SEAC.
Okay.
And he had started Northern Red in my garage, basically. They used to, people train at my house, at my garage, right? I mean, the teams that have been here, all kinds of military guys from the Green Berets, from the Army, some Air Force guys. The SEAL teams would come here, and we'd train in the garage in the backyard. Yep. So after SEAC had stopped doing the teams and kind of broke apart, and JD stayed on this side and I stayed on that side, I'm the head of combatives of Northern Red. So I would go on the trips and we'd go do the state police in New Jersey, or I'd go down and do the Marines in California. Border Patrol, we go to the Border Patrol. So the first time we really did it was I did the Border Patrol and brought the blade down there at the concept about 2016, something like that.
Okay.
So that's where it really started to get his play. Back then it was called the Colonel Blade, and then we had a lawsuit and we had to change the name because, legal issues. But it's the same blade. It's still got the patent number on it.
Yeah. So
it's all my design,
Yeah. So when you went to Border Patrol, is that the blade you introduced them to?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the blade we introduced.
And how did that training go? What was the feedback you got, when you introduced it to them?
Oh, it was the same thing. Everybody picked it up. Yep, I know what to do with it. I said, this is what we're going to do with it.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. And they were like, oh. They're like, I got this.
Yeah.
I got it enough where they're saying, like, it's enough. You don't have to show me anymore. I got it. It's good.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to the other way at the first blade. I'm like, oh, you got to explain it. Then, like, you know what? I really don't have to explain it.
Yeah.
Pick it up and go punch that wall. Punch the wall without the blade. Now punch the wall with the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
There's no change at all.
Yeah.
So once we got that no change thing down, we'd send it all out. And JD would show this guy, and he would show that guy. And they were like, "Man, this is all my blade training now. Is I don't have to train.
That's what I found when That's what I found when you sent me the blade. I'm like, I don't need training with this. I already know what I'm doing.
I already got it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
All it is like different speeds and levels, and maybe I want to try this, but that basics, it's right there.
Yeah.
So now I just, there's no more blade. I just go to blade every week and blah, blah, blah. Now I don't have to do any of that. I can do something else.
Yeah.
Let me go get good at something else.
Yeah.
Right. Because I already got the blade thing down.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to say, oh, I want to learn this system. Okay, well, here's the transition blade. Carry this blade because you can use it already.
Yeah.
And you go learn that other stuff that you want to learn.
Yeah.
Go if you want to learn stick or you want to learn machete or what. But this, you don't need all that. You already got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's another, I say self point, but it's another carry point where, well, you know, on the deal, your belt space is important, right? You know, what you put on your belt is pretty important. So I'm going to have on my belt what I can use the most effectively. It's like, what's the best gun about? The best gun that you shoot is the best gun around.
Yeah.
All right. The best blade that you can use, that's the best blade around.
Yeah.
If you can use another blade, then you carry that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I carried this. I carried two of them easy. Right. So I can use this now. So you see some videos, right and left-handed at the same time. If you bring them up, you don't know you can't tell if I'm right or left-handed.
Yeah.
And try that with two straight blades. You can't do it.
No,
you just can't.
Yeah.
But when I start going two-hand with this, it's crazy because it fits either hand.
Yeah.
And I don't have to change anything.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was the key for me, was like, yep, I'm going to use right or left hand. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, how many teams with the now active duty Green Berets, how many teams or group of guys did you train in that system, in the concept? You know,
I did, whoever JD was training at the time, I go down the shore, like where you guys go. I go down there before the brag, and they would come to his house. Yep. You know, the instructors and stuff like that. So
it was easy enough system that you can just teach an instructor and they'll just take it back to the schoolhouse and that's it.
Don't need a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I need the one guy.
Yeah.
Just this is what I do with it. You would do whatever, but this is the basic concept. And they would go back and they would just show everybody else. If the Secret Service guys would come here, it'd be just two of them. Yeah. And they'd be the main guys. And I would teach him. Awesome. We take it back and they do the thing because I don't have to go anymore. Yeah. I don't have to go to the Border Patrol. I hate traveling, doing sleeping in hotels and doing all that. I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to learn for people that have just even a minor set of punching skills.
Yeah.
Because once they get it in, like you said, once you get it in your head, it's like, you know what? You're not taking this off me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I found. Yeah.
Not without a bunch of holes in you.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
That's what I found with it, is because, again, like I train, you train, like guys and gals who have that experience of training, of martial arts, boxing, like it became so natural. I picked it up and I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing with this. It wasn't hard for me to figure out right away. And, you know, like it's funny to me, like all these knife companies have all these different specialty knives, whatever. It's all well and good. But just I found that your knife, that knife, I'm like, this is maximum damage. This is like, you're done, you know, you know, especially if
all I need is one good one.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly.
One, and then that'll change everything.
Yeah, right? Exactly. I think I saw in the YouTube video, I did see you with the 2 blades hitting that wall. And I'm like, holy shit. I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, the damage inflicting right there alone. I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah, I got some on Instagram too, a lot of 2-handed stuff. But the whole concept is the confusion that everybody has toward blade and the time it takes. It's like, dude, you're wasting your time. Yeah. It's just like when I would train people to fight, right? So I'm like, all right, we're going to train here. We're going to punch. We're going to go like that. And I had a kid here and every day he's punching. I said, we're going to go into Philly. We're going to go to Pro Gym. We're going to fight. I said, well, I'm going to tell you, this is the first time. I said, as soon as you get punched in the face, you're going to forget everything.
that famous Mike Tyson, quote, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face.
Punched in the face.
Yeah.
I said, well, now don't let it shock you, but you're going to forget everything. As soon as you get those little white dots on a black background, look, okay. So after he spars and he's like 8 rounds, or because he was young and in shape, and they're pros now, they're in Philly in Pro Gym. And he's like, okay, I said, what'd you think? He goes, I forgot everything. He goes, I forgot. He goes, the first round, the first good, I forgot it all.
Yeah.
I had not a clue. Could you tell us? Of course I could tell. I know that. And I just wanted you to feel that.
Yeah.
So imagine your first engagement, like of a cop on the street or somebody in the military. The first engagement is like pure chaos.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You don't, it's like, and people think that because you do all this training, but when it gets for real, everything is gone. It's like, you're in school and you're trying to recite something and you blank out.
Yeah.
You forgot everything. It's the same thing, but more dangerous now because now there's weapons involved.
Yeah.
And Tuhan did that to us one night. I was training with my partner, Frank, and he goes, all right, pull your live blades out. What? Pull your live blades out. Let's go. Do the same thing. Now, I was good with it, because the beatings that I took, but Frank is sweating bullets. I'm like, Frank, stop. Because now he's getting nervous now.
Yeah.
Because now it's live blade. Because now it's not for real. We know each other. But now there's live blades into play. And now he's sweating bullets because he was more scared of cutting me. And that, it changes things.
Yeah.
So when your first engagement comes, okay, so there's the only way I can explain it. So when I was in, like I said, I was the only white bouncer in an all-black nightclub. And I used to pace back and forth at the door. They called me the Tiger, right? Mm-hmm. Because, the tiger in a cage, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm in tune because you know why? Because I'm going to myself, I'm going to be ready for anything if this guy does this or if they do that. And I'm like, okay, going. Now, I was young then, and I was in a lot, but not a lot. This is really Philly street violent stuff, right? So as I grew more, I stopped the pacing, and I figured out that I had to make it happen instead of waiting for them to make it happen. That was my mistake. I was nervous because I didn't know what was going to happen. But when I'm older, I'm half asleep at the door now.
Yeah.
And I'm going, you know why? Because I know what I'm going to do. I know what's going to happen because I'm going to make it happen. Yeah. I'm going to go to the right every time. I do it every time. I go to the right, I move, I step in because they haven't seen my last fight film.
Yeah.
Okay. I do it every single time. Now, if I can make it happen, I already know what's going to happen because I force it. But if I don't know what's going to happen, now I have to react to them.
Yeah.
And reacting to them is very hard. Okay. Because you're in that I don't know game. Yep. And then if something doesn't happen. So once you flip the switch until you have to make it yours and you have to make it happen.
Yeah.
We're ready to go. It's like the old dudes some dudes would come in here and I'd ask them, I said, you got young guys on your team? Yeah, I said, do they carry like 10 mags, 4 knives? They got 3 guns, they got ankle straps, and you're standing there with, a rifle and 1 extra mag.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah. And I said, is there a guy on the team? They go, yeah, I know that guy. I said, you know why? He said, because he's going to make it happen.
Yeah.
The other dudes with all that stuff, they don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
So they think they're prepared for everything.
Yeah.
And then really prepared for nothing because the first few times, you're not going to remember nothing anyway.
Exactly.
You're not going to do anything that you trained for.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's funny. We see like on my SWAT team, we'll see the younger guys, like, again, it's just younger guys being young guys. And there's a couple of guys on the team, dude, they are loaded with shit. And I'm just like, holy shit, man. Exactly. Exactly.
Like, no, you don't. But see, you'll never be able to tell them they don't need all that shit until they go through it. And
exactly.
They get the experience that
That's
you guys
exactly
have, right?
Exactly, because you'll start to see they start to shed shit off their kit.
Look. So I always tell people, I say, look, it's what you don't do anymore that makes you any good at something.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're going to load your shit up. You're going to swell up like a tick with information. You're going to find out you don't need most of it.
Yeah.
So it's what you don't do anymore that's going to make you good at anything. But the only way to get that experience is to fuck things up.
Yeah.
And the one, like, man, I almost got killed on that one. Or I never should have did that because I almost got my buddy killed on that. Oh, and then you start to think.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like the first time you had sex. You fucked that up. Right? I know that.
Yeah.
You thought about it a long time, but you still, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of these people are learning from instructors that have never done anything.
Yeah.
And they have reputation. It's like getting, sex lessons from virgins.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
I like
right?
that. Sex lessons from virgins. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, well, how do you know? I heard it was like this, it was like that. See, what you have to do with this whole training thing is you have to make it yours.
Yeah.
You can't leave it mine.
Yeah.
Whatever I show you cannot stay mine because you will never get it.
Yeah.
You will only get it when it's yours.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, it's somebody else's. They never make it theirs.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to make it. There's only one way. Right. It's only way for me to describe it. It's like if we had the same shoe size and I gave you my shoes, they're not going to fit you.
No, they're not.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we got different. But if you wear them enough, you're going to break them in to where they do fit you.
I like
and then they're going to become your shoes because as long as they're my shoes, they're going to hurt. They're going to do that. But once they become your shoes, well, then that's it.
So
and that's the same way with all the information that you get from other people.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You have to make it yours.
I like how you said that because that is so true. I'm just thinking about, all the training I've ever done. And it's like, for me personally, I always take it as, okay, this is the foundation. Now I got to make it mine because what works for me may not work for him, may not work for that. And so that, and you get guys though, I'm sure you've run into it where you get guys and gals who are like, yeah, but I was taught this way. And it's like they're a parrot. Like they're a parrot that all they do is mimic whatever they were taught, but never really turning it into something for them. And that's my biggest thing with training is a lot of guys and gals are just sometimes so regimented. You got to break it out of them. It takes a bit. You break it out of them. Some of them get it. Some of them don't. It is what it is. But, like I said, I'm sure you've seen it numerous times.
Oh, yeah. It's like until it becomes yours.
Yeah.
It's never going to be right because it's still somebody else's.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And once I realized that, everything changed.
Yeah.
Everything for any kind of training changed.
Yeah.
And before I used to say it would be like, rent a car rental. When you rent a car, it's somebody else's car, dude. You slop it up, you do this and that. But if you buy that car and you make it yours, totally different feel when you get into it. It's not a rental anymore. This is my car.
Yeah.
This is mine. And if you do that with stuff that you have and get that concept, it'll be the same thing with training. Yeah. Because it is with your equipment. You're like borrowing somebody else's gun. You don't know that gun.
No.
If you shot it for a year, well, then yes, it becomes your gun.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. So
people are like, what's the secret? That's it.
Exactly. That's the thing.
That's the only secret
there. Like when I borrow somebody else's rifle or, my rifle's getting maintenance and I got to do a fucking hand-me-down or whatever. And dude, it feels so different. I'm like, this is not my rifle right away. I could tell. You know what? It's like one of those things like, the trigger, everything could be the same, but it feels different. Like it feels like this is not my rifle. So it's funny. It's funny the way you said it, because that is so true. Like unless that rifle or that piece of equipment becomes yours, it will always feel like a hand-me-down, or
you're not gonna hit shit with it.
Exactly. Man, I like how you put that.
So look, this is why I'm the instructor from Northern Red. I will go and just give a 10-minute talk on that and I can leave.
Yeah.
for people that are in the, you know what I'm saying, with a bunch of Green Berets and a bunch of cops and a bunch of what you do. I could leave and you'd be like, that was a great class, because I used to go to those with Sayok and Tom Kyer he would talk the whole class. We didn't know anything. And I would, the only one going, that was badass. And everybody else was like, why we didn't pick a blade up? You don't get it. You don't get it. Yes. You don't have to.
Yes.
Tuan, the head of Sayok, who started it, would sit down and teach a class. He never had to get up. And we knew everything that he was telling. He could explain things so good. He never had to get up and show us.
Yeah.
And I was amazed at that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, I wish I could be that good one day.
Yeah.
Where I can explain myself to someone and just leave and have them just change their life or their training life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'll try to do with the blade and on the shit I just told you.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
Yeah.
There's no other secret.
Man.
Right.
I mean,
an experience.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing. I mean, you have the experience, you know, like for you.
Right.
You
and
know,
the more that you get it in the experience, the more everything will just fall into place.
Yeah.
Because when you don't know what's going to happen in the unknown, you're the tiger, like me at the door.
Yeah.
Right. I thought I was badass. I'm going to knock a motherfucker. Right. Yeah. and then one time, so later on, it was sort of the same thing. So I went sparring when I was old in sports stuff. The kid busted my ribs up and this and that, beat the hell out of me. Right. And then he comes to the bar where I'm working at night. And he's black belt. He tough as ball. And I'm sitting there almost asleep because I'm old now. I'm 36, you know. Asleep. And he's going, what's going on? I said, we're going to be fighting with those dudes in a little bit. Maybe you might want to hang around, because he's never been in a real fight.
Yeah.
Right. He said, what do you mean? And I said, those dudes right there, we're going to be going at it with them in a little bit because they got to leave, whatever. And he goes, how can you just sit there and just be so calm and half asleep? Well, I didn't have time to tell them what I just told you.
Yeah.
But that's how.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to make it happen, dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And he left. He couldn't do it. He couldn't fathom that. And he got so just sweating bullets. He left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and that top belt, black belt fighter and all that. But when it got for real, because he didn't know what was going to happen.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Like when I'm dealing with a suspect or whatever, something crazy, and he's like, wanting to fight me, whatever. I already have I'm all calm and collected. I'm already like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and I already know what I'm going to do, So again, but like I said, that comes with experience.
It comes experience, but and the more you get it, the more you're going to be like that, and you're going to make them react to you instead of you reacting to them.
Absolutely, and that's so. Just like, there's this lieutenant who does train, real good guy, Freddie Leland. He's a retired lieutenant, and the way you describe it, he calls it. I used to say, you control the chaos. He's like, you don't control chaos. He said, you reshape it, you reform it to work for you.
Yeah, to fit you.
Yeah. Exactly. Right. And I like that. Yeah. And it's pretty much you guys are speaking like the same language in two different ways,
Right. And once you get these concepts and when I explain it like that with the shoe thing and the car thing, people get it, and then I don't have to talk anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't have to say, oh, you'll see later on. It's like, oh no, I see it now, dude.
Yeah.
When it's not mine, it's just all messed up. And then, so you have to make it yours.
Yeah.
And that takes some effort.
Yeah.
That's like when they go to class and they don't do anything at home, they just come to class. I'm like, that you'll never get it, dude.
No.
You just want to come because where you make it yours is when you go home.
Yeah.
Not here. There's a difference between training and practice.
Exactly.
You come here to get trained, and then you go and practice.
Exactly.
Nobody is ever over-practiced, are they? Did you ever hear that? No. They're overtrained, though.
Yeah.
Because why? They got too much shit in their head.
Yep.
Because people keep pouring shit into it, and you become overtrained.
Yeah.
How about being over-practiced? Let's do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Because
if you were over practiced, you'd be badass.
Oh, 110%. Right. Like that, that is so true. And I'm trying to think, 10,000. I know I'm looking it up right now. Bruce Lee said something about,
you do it 10,000 times.
Yeah. He said, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times.
10,000 times. Exactly.
And that is so true. So that's like, so my son, he's starting off in the martial arts, and, he's 13 years old. And I started actually when I was in the 5th grade, when I was really young.
Right.
And, to him, I'm like, yes, you learn the forms, the moves, whatever, in the dojo. But when you go home, now you got to practice it. You got to practice. So you can, because he will look at me. I'm far more advanced than him, and I'm going through the things with him, and I'm teaching him how to parry the punch and stuff like that. Right. And I do it real quick, and he's like, "Dad, how do you do it so quick?" I'm like, "Buddy," I'm like, these movements, I've been doing them 10,000, 20,000 times, so it becomes second nature to the point where
it in your head.
Exactly. And even in the dojo, like, when I'm doing grappling and I'm doing some throws, judo throws and stuff like that. And, some of the other belts are like, man, you do it so quick. He's like, do you actually do it at your job? I'm like, well, yeah, I go for real. Like, I do it for real at work, like at times.
Tell the cops.
I do it for real. So that's
people every day.
Exactly. So
when I would tell the cops, so I go do the SWAT teams or do the thing, I'm like, look, you touch people every day.
Yeah.
People should be listening to you because you have the experience and it works and it's bullshit, right?
Yeah.
First of all, you're paid to win. You're not allowed to lose.
Yeah.
So let's get rid of all this with the sports stuff. You're paid to win. No, not me saying that. That's your family saying that. Yeah. That's your wife and your kid. You got to win.
Yeah.
None of this, self-confident. But no, that's all out.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And I would give these talks to the cops, and they'd be looking at me like, you have to win. And you use weapons to win. Yeah. That's what weapons are for.
Yeah.
So don't be shy about it.
Yeah.
And then when you go to your kid, I tell him right before he goes to sleep, thinking all this stuff that you're showing them just for 5 minutes, because every night I'm in a violent confrontation before I go to sleep, and it falls to the walls like it was when I was 21, and I'm shooting or killing something, but just for a little bit. So I get that in my head that I'm used to this, because I don't want to lose that because I'm getting older and I'm not going this, I'm not bouncing in bars anymore. Because you get complacent.
Yes.
If you don't think about it.
Yeah.
But once you've seen it in your head a few times, or a few hundred times, then the experience starts to come. So I've done this before.
Yeah.
Take pictures when you're grappling. Take pictures, but not of pictures of sight of what it feels like to sink that chokehold in, and let your kid hold it for 30 seconds. Take pictures of this.
Yeah.
Put it in an arm, whatever you're doing. Pictures. Feel it. Don't let go right away.
Yeah.
Feel it.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to become it. Everybody hated my class. Why? Because we did the same thing every time.
Yeah.
We didn't do the thing of, now, or you can do this, or you can do this. Or choices. Again, with choices. If I went to a class and a guy gave me all these choices, I'm saying he's never been in a real fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you wouldn't talk like that.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't give so many choices.
Yeah.
Okay. The choice is be confident in your techniques because you practice them so much.
Yeah.
Make it yours. Move first. Yeah. And when I say you got to go first, everybody thinks is that I'm attacking first.
Yeah.
No. No. Okay, that's good. Yeah, you got to hit first. When I say go first, that means you have to be prepared.
Yes.
So going first for me would be like I put my stuff on out and I'm ready, and the switch is on. So I'm ready. I already went first.
Yep.
No matter how much you talk to me, I'm already on.
Yep.
When you're on the job and you get out of that car, whatever, you're already on.
Oh, I'm already on.
You went first already.
So, to me, to me, like my mentality, when I get started for the day, when I'm in my locker,
Yes.
When I'm on is when that gun clicks into my holster. I'm already on.
Helmet on.
Yeah, I'm already on. Like the minute
I explain that with the military dudes. I try to tell them, I said, look, you have a guy that you're always glad that he's there.
Yep.
Who do you get your strength from? There's always one dude, and you probably have a guy in there in your station, or you're that guy that people get their strength from you because you got your shit together. And they know when you're getting it on. And when you got your helmet on, you're ready to fight, right? So last thing they put on when they're ready to go, right? The helmet goes on. When you click your gun in, you're putting your helmet on. Fucking ready. But how many dudes in the station don't have their helmet on when they
No, they don't. There's a lot.
They don't have it.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So tell them, get your helmet on. I'm ready to fight. Even when it's football, what's the last thing they put on? Put the helmet on, coach.
Yeah.
So when you get, and you explain it to your son like that, and you have to know when people have their helmet on.
Yes.
Like when I was in the bar, I said, this dude's got his helmet on. He's ready to fight.
Yeah.
Or this dude doesn't.
Yeah.
But once they put their helmet on, you better know he's ready to fight.
Yep.
Right?
That's
and
the
how
thing.
many people on the street that you know that go and look up, they have not a clue.
Oh, not a clue.
Whose helmet's on.
So
they don't know.
It reminds me of the quote. I just looked it up. Heraclitus said, out of every 100 men, 10 shouldn't even be there. 80 are just targets. 9 are real fighters, and we are lucky to have them. But they make the battle. But the one is a warrior, and he will bring the others back. That's exactly it.
They get their strength from him.
Exactly. I always say in any police, military, any squad, we'll say squad size, there's always that one dude.
There's one.
There's always that one dude.
Everybody's glad he's there, right?
Exactly.
And that's who they get their strength from. So, all right. So, Band of Brothers.
Yep.
You see the Band of Brothers, Wild Bill Guinier. He's like an uncle. He grew up with my uncles. So close that he was an uncle. So I would go over and I take my uncles to see him the last 10 years of his life. What I learned from him was first that everything they planned for D-Day when they dropped them, none of it happened. Not a one. Not a one. He landed with nothing. It all fell off him. They had these new bags from the Brits tied on. He said, I landed, it fell off. I had nothing. Right? He said, everybody was so spread out, we couldn't find each other for hours, but we did. So he said that bullshit of that, it's never going to go like you train.
Nope.
Like, okay. So people train with the other hand. They call the other strong hand. I'm like, so I asked him about, because we used to take the teams down there when they would come here and see him. And, so he's on, look, I saw a guy once with his hand completely stripped of skin with skeleton fingers pulling that trigger. He said, you're not going to think you're going to switch hands when the shit's going down like that. So I get training with the other hand. I get it. But you're going to keep that down, even with half your hands blown off. Okay. I get it. And the biggest thing with him was the training part. He was like, we killed them because they were going to kill us. And the whole team is sitting there, SEAL team, and they couldn't grasp it at first because they're asking them all these questions on training. They said, kids, stop. We killed them because they were going to kill us, and we fought like it. That's it. There's no secret.
No.
Right? And they were just all silent. He said, that's it. So same with you on the street. They're going to kill you. You're going to kill. That's how you have to look at it. Because once you start with that, going down that road of, excuses and maybe I should do this or, well, he does that. He didn't deserve that. The escalation of force at the Border Patrol pissed me off. I'm going with the escalation. I said, you guys follow this? He's like, well, no. I said, well, here, try this. Why don't you be escalated to the top now? Okay. And then de-escalation is way easier. Because me not killing people all day long is easier than me ramping up. Right? Going all the way up to where I have to kill. You de-escalate, like your helmet's on, your gun's in, you're already there. You just don't kill everyone. That's easy. But your other guys that have to ramp up and think about, well, he pulled the knife, I can pull this. He did this, I could. But then it's going. It's going because they're going to get hurt.
Exactly.
And they're going to get you hurt.
Exactly.
Right? De-escalation. Be escalated.
Yeah.
Right? I tore that fucking poster down. This is bullshit. You're going to get hurt. Because, let's face it, escalation, explain it. He's at the top of the escalator with a gun pointing at you, and you're coming up the escalator trying to figure out if you should use more force than the last step. And
that's a good way. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's already up there because the criminals don't use restraint.
No, they don't.
Right? They don't think, well, maybe I should. So you got to match that.
Yeah.
So de-escalate, be up there. That's easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's a whole nother episode right there talking about de-escalation. I'm saying, man, that's a whole nother rabbit hole we can go down on another one, brother. Yeah.
If you can't put right.
Yeah.
It's crazy because they would much rather you get killed than you kill someone.
That's exactly how it reads when we're reading these new policies and posts and all that. I'm like, so for example, in Massachusetts, right? It's like to us, it's kind of comical. So they completely outlawed chokeholds, straight outlawed, even under deadly force, it's outlawed.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, all right, so if somebody's choking me, I can take my fucking mag flashlight, 20-pound flashlight, and bludgeon his head over and over. But God forbid I put my hands around his neck.
That's right. He's allowed to choke you.
Yeah. So to me, the reality of it is, how often are we actually putting people in chokeholds? It's very rare.
Right.
It's a rare thing for us to even do that. And because, under police, most departments had policies that you can't use chokehold unless your life is in danger, like you're about to get killed, whatever. And you got to do what you got. Basically, you got to do what you got to do to survive. Most departments have that in policy anyways. But then when post comes in and completely outlaws certain shit, you're like, well, now you just took away an option, where we could.
And then and what are they going to do? They're going to replace it with something else.
Yeah.
At the peak, the guys that can't fight just shoot people, right?
Yeah.
Because they can't fight. So you took this away, you took that away, you took that away. Well, now I'm going to have to shoot them because I'm not allowed to do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, and that's just human nature, right? That's how it goes. And I don't know why they don't realize that, but they probably don't care.
Oh. Well, again, like you said, they probably never been in a fight themselves to realize what does work and what doesn't work.
They think it's easy. Shoot them in the leg.
Have you ever shot someone? Try shooting someone in the leg? Yeah, good luck. But
while they're running,
yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Yeah,
it's just the whole training thing.
Yeah,
it's so hard the way they make it. Especially for you guys, that you guys you see the worst of humans. Humans are the worst thing that God ever made.
Oh my God!
Just ask the animals what we do to them.
I know
What I'm saying? We're the worst.
Yeah.
So you deal with that all the time. And these people that look at you in a certain way never have to deal with that because it doesn't affect them.
No, it does not.
So it's so hard. And you try to tell them you have to be on, or your helmet's got to be on all the time. But no, it doesn't. You don't have to be. Oh, well, then
yeah,
it's just going to happen because you're not paying attention and you're trying to talk yourself into something that's never going to happen.
Yeah,
the talking themselves into stuff is just crazy. And I've watched just at bouncers doing when I would have people bouncing with me. I'm like, dude, you got to watch my back. You got to do that's never. All right, get rid of this dude.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
He's got to go. He's going to get me killed.
Man,
man. So
it's so different, and it's frustrating for guys like us, like fighters, like actually, fighters, guys who have passion for the job or who really care, now you're and who care because we also train others, right? And we're like, well, I can't train this, or I can't show, like, there's certain shit now that we're not even allowed to talk about, because it's all of a sudden it's turned like, no, we can't talk about that. I'm like, yeah, but again, though, that's human nature, right? I talk a lot about the primal human nature of things, and that's the thing. Right. So it's awesome that you do combatives for Northern Red, and you bring in that information out there, especially with the blade that you created essentially based off of very simple concept, which to me it was like I said, as soon as I grabbed it, I'm like, no shit, okay, like I know what I'm doing with it now, and so now that time is winding down, so one thing I want to make sure we get out is, where can they find your blade? Like where is it that is located?
regimentblades.com, or they can go to Bravo Company BCM. They have it on there.
Okay, and what they type in, what sort of blade is it?
just Regiment Blade Low-Vis Pro.
Yeah.
And it'll come right up, or the auto lock folder.
Okay.
So you'll see all the ones on there. If you go on my Instagram with some of the earlier stuff, there's a lot of how we use the blade.
Okay.
Right. You know, once in a while, for people was bashing each other in the head and shit like that. But if you go earlier on there, Al Regiment Blades, it'll show some stuff, and Regiment Blades Combative.
And that's where they can find you on Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of other, but Instagram, I got the most on there. So the last thing about training, and to me it was always important, is like you have to be the fan when you're out and you're fighting. And what I think you got to be a fan is, like, if you take the front off of a fan and the fan's going, the fan does not care if a child sticks his hand in there, an adult, or a woman, or that. You have to be the fan.
Yep.
Everybody gets the same treatment.
Yep.
And once you get full circle, everybody gets the same treat. We do the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Not be a machine, not be because people say, oh, you got to be a machine. You just be the fan, because the fan doesn't care who's in front of me.
Yeah. Exactly.
And once you, as a person, get to the point of, if somebody 5'5" stands up, it's like, okay. Some 6'5" stands up and not go, oh, dude, this dude's big. Oh no, there's two of them. Oh, well, that self-talks. Then you're right. You're starting to talk yourself out of this shit.
Yeah.
Right. The fan doesn't give a fuck.
No, he doesn't.
Who cares?
No, he doesn't.
Be the fan.
Yeah.
The fan treats everybody the same.
Yeah.
Nobody gets special treatment except this.
Yeah.
Right. And if you get that concept, you'll stop talking yourself out of shit. You'll stop being it. Self-doubt is a poison that you drink yourself.
Oh my God.
Okay, nobody do, you do it.
Yeah.
And all I want to do is give you some self-poison cup.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's my thing. I'm going to give you some self-doubt.
Yeah.
You'll drink it.
Yeah.
Then you'll do the rest.
Yeah.
Okay. You just have to do your job, and they'll do the rest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
When you show up and you have that air just like, this dude don't fuck around. That's when you know what I'm saying?
Oh no, there's certain people like in the city I work in. The minute they see me, they're like, oh fuck.
Yes, exactly. So you be the fan, and they'll know. Just like you said, they'll know that it doesn't matter who shows up, right? And be the same. And that's going to be the toughest thing for you to teach your kid.
Yeah.
Is to not be intimidated by, this guy's big, or he's strong. But after a while, that'll go away. You teach him right.
Yeah, I mean, when I was young, I was small like him, and I was scrawny and all that. Like, you know, we all go through that phase. But you're right, that self-doubt. Like once I got rid of it, once I.
Yes.
You know, and I think it literally was the very first time I, you know, in the dojo getting punched in the face, because like I could tell my instructor because I was so scared. So what he did, and you'll laugh, he took a belt, he took my belt, tied it to the opponent's belt. That way I can't run. I had to face it. You know, so I remember when I first got rocked, it was that white. I'm like, oh my God. And then he's like, well, did you die? No. There you go. It wasn't that bad. You know, deal with it.
So on part of one of my things is how you get people not to be scared of the stick. You flog them.
Yeah. Right.
And so you beat them with a stick, and we beat some people in here with sticks. And I got my son on there, and the welts are good, but he's not scared of stick anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you get it, you're not scared of it. It's always the anticipation and the thought of it that's worse than the actual.
So Seneca said, he's a Stoic that I read a lot of. He said that we suffer more in imagination than in reality.
Oh, absolutely.
And that is so true, right? And,
and that's the
because
thing. We're the ones that make it bigger than it really is.
Exactly.
It's not that bad. Dude.
No, it's not.
It's not. A little bit of pain, it goes away.
Yeah.
But then when it comes time, you're going to have to flog your kid to get him not scared of that stick.
Yeah.
All right. And my wife was just crazy about it when the first time he got flogged. But it wasn't me. Sayok flogged him. Sayok has some good stuff, but he was 16 the first time.
Yeah.
But after that, it was nothing.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Al, you know, just to wrap up, truly appreciate you coming on. Finally, we got the technology stuff out of the way. Yeah, we got out of the way. Hang out for a second. Let me just end the recording, and then we'll roll back. But all right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this. Al, I mean, you know, wealth of knowledge, lead instructor at Northern Red for Combatives, does a whole lot for the community, you know, between military, law enforcement, anybody else that really is part of that tribe. He gives you a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of information on everything. So everybody out there, stay safe and stay safe.